Hi, I'm Rob Paz.
And I'm Kristen Stanton.
And this is the Rob and Kristen Show. Hi, and welcome to another edition. We are not in the studio. We have not done that much work to the studio to be able to have this fantastic drop back? What would you call this? Backdrop? Yes, it's a backdrop. There we go. Hey, it is good to have you with us for another edition of the show. Remember, we want to thank the great folks at MyPillow. MyPillow has been fantastic to us since the start of the show. And we want to tell you how much we appreciate them and how much we appreciate you buying something from MyPillow. Use the promo code ATV when you shop at MyPillow.com. Also, Mike's done away with the shipping, so even orders under $75.
Better time to get everything is because you're not going to be paying shipping costs right now.
No shipping costs. We are, of course, at the Gaylord Texan in Texas.
Grapevine, Texas.
Grapevine, Texas.
This is a really big resort.
It is. It's huge. My feet have killed me this week.
Your feet have killed you. I had heels on.
Yeah, well, it has been just a incredible week, though.
It's really been a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun just making content so that you guys can see into the lives of some other people other than just Rob and I. But this...
How can you beat us, though? I can't imagine.
Right. No, but we've really had a lot of fun here at the Gaylord Texan here in Grapevine, Texas. There's a lot of really cool things about this place, and you can probably hear there's this big waterfall in the background.
There is a waterfall. If I were to walk over like this...
And he's gone.
Okay, we call that ambient. Or ambient or something. I don't know what it's called. But we've had such a great weekend, and like you said, this is a huge place with so many neat things. What's your favorite thing about the Gaylord Texan?
Oh, hands down, my favorite thing about the Gaylord Texan is the atrium.
Yes.
I love the atrium, and if you love the feeling of being outdoors without really being outdoors, you're gonna love this. It's a perfect place to come, especially if it's cold outside. Well, maybe here in Texas, even when it's hot outside.
Oh, definitely when it's hot outside.
Because there's plants, there's the waterfalls, there's these little places that you can walk all through the atrium, which makes it really a lot of fun. And you and I discovered a couple of things yesterday when we were walking.
We did. We see the bad thing. I will say. I'll tell you two things. My good thing is this is a great place, but the bad thing is with NRB we didn't have any time to really explore. So that's the bad thing. But the good thing is it's an incredible place.
Yeah, so we were reading some signs yesterday when we were walking, and there is a tree that was replicated, cost about $250,000 for them to replicate this tree, and it is inside of the atrium, and it's just really a neat thing. And if you can see behind us, there's a river walk, and it is reminiscent of the San Antonio Riverwalk.
Which I assume is what they were going for. I don't know that for a fact, but I would assume so. And a $250,000 replicated tree. I was wondering, I didn't realize there was money in replicating a tree.
I didn't
I'm
either.
going to have to get my paper mache skills out and really start. Do you remember doing paper mache?
Oh, yes.
Yes, that's kind of like what they did, I'm assuming.
I don't know.
Something similar.
I don't know. I wouldn't have known that it was not a real tree if I hadn't read the sign.
And that was...
Of course, it was at night, too. So.
Yeah, it was an incredible decor. It makes you feel very patriotic to come here. Texas makes you feel like, I feel like I want to get a monster truck and a pair of cowboy boots now after being here in Texas. Love this place. And like you said, we've had a great time. It is a wonderful, wonderful experience. And so if you ever get a chance to come to the Gaylord, it's in Grapevine, Texas, which is near the airport. which we discovered when we flew in.
You know what else is, if you do fly into the airport, the hotel itself has a transportation division. So, if you're like us and you're calling around trying to find a way to get to the resort, just call the hotel directly and they'll give you prices.
And that was super cool about it. And it's very seamless. And again, my hat's really goes off to the Gaylord management. Every person here has made us feel like we were home. It's been a big Texas welcome for everybody here. It's been fantastic. They've been great. Now I want to talk a little bit about the restaurants. Yeah.
So I would say if there's one downside to the Gaylord Texan, it is the restaurants.
And it's tough because maybe it's our taste, so don't go by that. I think though the tough part is the options were not for us really great, and that was the tough part. Now I will tell you, the Riverwalk Cantina has maybe the best queso I have ever eaten. The chef came out and talked to us, and I literally told him if he poured it in a bowl that I would eat it with a spoon. So it was fantastic. So we did enjoy that.
It really was. And I will also say we were here during a convention week, and so they were running, the Mexican restaurant was running a buffet for breakfast, which we did not get to try. And they were running a buffet for lunch and dinner. And I'm a vegetarian, so as a vegetarian, it does make the options a little bit less. But I will say this, they came out at the Mexican restaurant and they asked specifically if they could make me anything because they didn't want me to have to pay buffet prices without really having a lot of options. But they did. They had a salad. They had different kinds of tortillas.
They had so many amazing. I had a great time there. It was an all-you-can-eat Mexican buffet. How can you go wrong with that? I mean, I was doing tacos and burritos, and I made up for what Kristen didn't eat with what I ate, and so yeah, I think we did okay.
Yeah, we did. It was $36 a person.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit on the higher side, I think.
Now, was our drinks included? Because we had club soda.
Well, we had club soda, so I don't know. I don't know because
in case you ever go out with me, that's what I do. Because I've been really good, and I've had very little when it comes to pop of any kind this year. So that's my new thing, and I feel better.
Yeah. So that was really a lot of fun, and I will definitely give the Riverwalk Cantina 2 thumbs up because I think that they did an excellent job with everything. Just maybe the price point seemed a little bit high for what it was that they were offering, and if you're ordering off the menu, don't expect off the menu type selections that you may get at other Mexican restaurants.
Yeah. Definitely.
But the food was good.
Yes.
So, what about the Italian place?
The Italian place was. We had a tough time the first night at the Italian restaurant. It was a rugged experience for our group of people that came, and
we didn't have the greatest of service.
It was not good.
They dumped a bowl of food on one of our people.
And to disclaimer that it was before the event really had started, so they weren't super busy. It felt like, and again, nothing against the restaurant itself. It just felt like the team that was there was not wanting to be there, and that was at the end truly. And we're not just saying that to you. We're going to tell the team here when we talk to them. It felt really like it was kind of, I don't know, like they were bored to be there, and it was tough. And we had the pizza. The pizza was good. It wasn't great. And the people with us had pasta, and they said it was good but not great. And then we went back another night with a group of people, and we had great service. We had great service, and the food was good. The food was good, but the one complaint from almost everybody is it's really spicy. That was what almost everybody in our group said, was that the food was really spicy. I have not eaten Italian food that was that spicy ever in my life, and I've eaten Italian food for a long. I mean, Italian is my go-to, and it was like I had a bolognese, and it was like, oh my word. So my food was really good that I got the second time we went to the Italian restaurant. But then again, all I had was pasta
with a little bit of butter and pepper and some cheese.
And I will tell you,
it was good.
They do make their pasta on site.
Yeah.
So the pasta is very good, but be prepared. If you're used to a more northern Italian pasta where it's not very spicy, you just be forewarned. Otherwise, it was good food. We ate at the Texan station.
Texan station.
And that was good. That's a burger place. I mean, you really can't mess up a burger. And Kristen had a salad. So I think you just be mindful there. Their price point is a little different than anyone else in the hotel. So be mindful of that. I think that's something to, when you go there, is make sure you look at the price point of every restaurant. We didn't get to check out the steakhouse.
No.
And that was just because there was no time. But we've got to talk about the big thing that really was to us super exciting.
The gelato.
Yes. Okay, I am not, and you may call me bourgeois if you want. You can call me anything you want. I was never really a big fan of gelato.
Oh, but this gelato was amazing.
Oh, this was like, I could have eaten a lot more. But the problem was it was so rich that I ate one scoop. Can you imagine just one scoop for the size of this person? And feel full. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was really good. And I can say that I've never really been a super big fan of gelato, but I loved this. This was amazing. And you're right, one scoop was plenty. But, it's another one of those things. It was like $18 for the two of us, and we just each had one scoop and a cup. So if you're coming with a family, maybe be mindful of some of those things, unless you don't mind spending the extra money. Maybe plan on going off site and getting some food.
And for the coffee people, and I want to talk about this because, of course, being the coffee guy, they do have a Starbucks branded place here in the hotel, but they don't use your rewards, which is terrible because you don't get stars, and you can't use your gift cards or your cards. So be mindful of that. They were really good. They were very slammed busy every time we were in there. Also, though, in a side note, if you're a water drinker like we've become, they have the best deal on water in the whole facility. You can get a liter of water there, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention that they also have a market, so you can grab and go food. So you can grab a sandwich and go. You can grab a yogurt and go, but just
had the yogurt.
I had the yogurt parfait. It was decent, but just again, keep in mind price points here are a little bit higher, at least for us. Now, if you're coming from California, you're probably gonna say, "Oh, that's pretty normal."
Yes, when I lived in Seattle, these prices were normal. Now that I live in Ohio, they're a little more of a kind of a sticker shock situation. They did have a great, and I will tell you this, I had a grab and go sandwich. It was a ham and cheddar sandwich, and it was really, really good. I teased about it being a gas station sandwich when I got it, because it comes in a little box like you can get at the gas station, but it was fantastic. It was on white bread. You can't beat, I mean, come on, raise your hand if you believe that like a sandwich on white bread is amazing. It was incredible.
So another thing that I just wanted to mention is that they do have an outdoor pool here. We don't know, we're here at the end of February, so we don't know, it's probably not open right now, but we're gonna go see if we can at least look at it so that we can pass that information along to everybody else who might be looking for some place to go in the summer. But they do have an outdoor pool, and it sounds like they have a fairly decent water park or a lazy river or something.
You know the one thing you said earlier, and it dawned on me during my conversation, was you said after the San Antonio Riverwalk.
Yeah.
And it's called the Riverwalk Cantina.
Right.
So my guess is that was probably where they inspired it from, was San Antonio. And so, it's awesome. This is a great place. And for those few things that we go, hey, listen, this is us. And again, it is what Kristen said, which I think is so key. It's the comfort price point for you. If you're from a New York City or a California, these price points aren't going to be the same as if you're from Mississippi or even Kentucky or Tennessee or like us in Ohio or Indiana or Pennsylvania. I could list off all the states. We could do like the whole thing here. Stop me at some point. But those kinds of things really, I think, it's so the overall experience is so amazing that the price point is such a small part.
Right. It has been just fabulous, and I can't emphasize enough just how great the staff that we've dealt with have been.
Oh, amazing people, just an incredible and you can feel it's like comfortable. It's not a stuffy. We like stuffy hotels. so just so you know, this is like very comfortable, almost like you're like going over and hanging out at somebody's like, their family room, because all the seats are real comfortable. I mean, I know that's not the look they're going for. I know it's supposed to be like chic Texas, but it feels very comfortable at the same time.
It is. They have got fireplaces right inside the lobby, and they had fires the other night. So we were sitting by the fireplaces, and the chairs were really comfortable.
It has been super fun. Of course, we were here for the National Religious Broadcasters. Had a great time doing that. It was, and the weather was great. I mean, we never got to see it, but our phones told us how amazing the weather outside was during our week here.
Yeah, and one of the things that I also wanted to point out as I'm looking is, don't forget, there's two different kinds of rooms that you can get. There's the atrium views that have the balconies. You can see them in the background. But then there are also the rooms like we had that don't have a balcony. And I would pick the rooms that we had that don't have a balcony. I would pick them every day, because during the day there's music that's going in the atrium. There's a lot of people milling around. So I can only imagine that bleeds into the room. But hey, if you like the activity and you like the noise and you're good with that, pick one of those rooms.
Well, and they do, and they have a balcony, which is kind of cool. I mean,
right.
I don't see anybody out. I was looking around, I was trying to scan. I don't see anybody out right now, but I would totally, like in the morning, if it was a relaxing, so different for us.
Right. Because
we're here for business. But if you're here relaxing, how cool would it be to like go sit out there and have some coffee and maybe like catch up on email, or I was going to say read the newspaper, because that shows you how old I am. But yeah, whatever.
It's been really a lot of fun. It's been a great week, and we've got some great interviews, and I think that we should show one of the interviews that we took.
That's it. We're going to head to an interview, and then we'll be back after that. Pastor Larry, good to have you here.
Oh, it's great. I tell you what, I'm on the best TV network ever, and that's y'all network.
I was waiting for you to say what network it was.
And I'm so glad that, I'm on a lot of them, but I'm so honored to be here today, and I'm so glad to be with y'all. It's not just about me doing TV, it's y'all friends. And so that's a great thing, and y'all been a blessing to us. I recommend, by the way, anybody looking to be on, get with these people. You have a podcast, they're going to teach you everything you want to know.
Well, thank you so much for that. Tell everybody a little bit about your ministry and how it got started. I love this story.
Yeah, it's Revival at Cape Henry is the name of it. I'm the host of it. And we have over 544 episodes, and it goes around the world, over 182 countries, by satellite, by all kinds of ways. And we have millions of viewers that's watching. But it started in a humble thing, because here I am pastoring a little church. God can use pastors of little churches. We have probably a bigger viewing audience, and we're winning more people around the world than most mega churches are through television. Yep. Isn't that amazing? Television. Yep. At one time, you couldn't afford to even be on a TV. But anyway, what happened was Cape Henry is where the church began in America, out of Virginia, right on the corner of Virginia Beach and the ocean and the Chesapeake Bay. And in 1607, Robert Hunt and his group, 3 ships came in with their people from England, and they came to leave the tyranny that was coming against Christians, and Protestant Christians. And so they came in, and when they got to America, they parked right outside Cape Henry. And for 3 days, they prayed and fasted. Robert Hunt actually happens to be one of my ancestors, I found out.
That's so cool.
Believe it or not, that's amazing.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and so they prayed for 3 days, and then they got off the ship, and they made a cross with parts of the ship, the wood. And they planted it right there in Cape Henry, right where a Navy base is right now, a small one. And so they planted that cross, and they prayed, and part of the prayer I don't have it all memorized by heart, but part of the prayer had to do with making a covenant with God. And part of it says that they were going to pray that they can bring the gospel around the world, and then the end will come.
Wow.
Yeah, and so they made this covenant with God to do that. And that's how their mission was when they came here. And so everything began there, and then they moved eventually to Jamestown. And Williamsburg was where the first U.S. Capitol was built at that time. So I'll give you a history there. And so when we came, I was back when I was 12 years old. You got time to hear
We
this?
do.
All right. When I was 12 years old, I was standing next to a telephone pole in front of my grandmother's restaurant in Houma, Louisiana. And I'm by myself, 12 years old, leaning next to a telephone pole at 9 o'clock at night. And God started speaking to me. I didn't know he could speak. I mean, I was not even a Christian. I was a Catholic, but not even a good Catholic. But anyway, he told me that he wants to use me in the future. And
Wow.
he said it's like it was the end of the world. That's all I could understand. And he was telling me about that. And then I said, well, I don't want to be a priest. My grades aren't good enough, that type of thing. And he said he would do that. And about a half hour, he spoke to me. And then I remembered it, but, years and years later, God brings me out here into Virginia Beach. And next thing you know, I'm ministering and pastoring after 40-something years of pastoring ministry. So I did get saved, and I am a Protestant now, by the way. And so I'm a Holy Ghost guy, by the way.
Yes.
And so I'm trying to make it short if I can.
No, you're good.
Anyway, so when we got out here, then God started dealing with me about Cape Henry, and I found out all about it, and then he started dealing with me. And he said, he wanted me to change the name of my church to Cape Henry Church. Okay, so we did, and we were located minutes from the cross. Our church was set.
Oh, wow.
And he said, I want you to bring this message to the world and share about the cross. And tell people, and I'm telling you right now, God honors covenant. Mm-hmm. I don't care how many years ago it was. Mm-hmm. He told me to say that. And he answers prayer.
Amen.
It may be years later you'll see an answer to it. Mm-hmm. I remember on being video, and I think it's on your network too, I remember I'm watching on the camera, my guests, because they were in another state, mm-hmm. from my hometown, I think it was at the time. And I'm looking, no, it might have been Gil, and I'm interviewing him. And as Gil's talking, the Lord says, you remember when I spoke to you next to that telephone pole? Yes, sir. He said, and I told you I'd have you doing this ministry for me. He said, you're looking at it.
Wow.
And so I went, wow, and I started crying.
Aww.
But anyway, and I realized, and I said, wait a minute, I do know how to hear from God. I teach on that mm-hmm. and stuff. And what happened was, I said, that was God.
Yes.
I know it was him. He was speaking to me at 12 years old. So this has been planned. And how can God do that? Well, he's omniscient. He's Alpha and Omega, beginning and the end, and everything in between.
That's it.
He knows your past, present, and future. So God spoke to me, you like this, based on my future.
Wow.
He already knew my future.
Yes.
I didn't know my future.
Yes.
But he saw this when I was a baby. He knew us before we were born.
That's it.
Informed in mother's womb. And so he knew that. And so how could he speak to me about Christian things when I wasn't a Christian? Because he treated me as the future.
So other than that, what do you think is the most miraculous thing that you've seen throughout the course of your ministry?
Well, personal things or?
Either.
Well, let me give you one that happened. And did I tell you about my wife when she fell in the pool? Well, anyway, I think I did.
Yeah.
In person, yeah, but not here
Not
on
on
TV.
TV.
All right, let me share it on TV.
Yeah, I'd love that.
And so a couple of years ago on Christmas Day, we were at my daughter's house, and we were leaving to come home. All right? And I'm sharing this for a purpose. I believe it will bless people. And so when we're leaving, my daughter had to leave with her husband from their house to go visit her mother-in-law and father-in-law. And so when they did, they left, and my wife and I were leaving, and we locked the door of the house and all that kind of stuff. My wife forgot the key inside and her purse. And we were in the car, we had no way to leave. We were stuck. And so, and everything was, locked. You can't, without a key, you can't get in. And so she started looking around. She was freaking out. And so she looked around the back of the house, to go to check the back doors and stuff, and they had a pool there, in-ground pool with a canvas over it, a rotten canvas, by the way, we found out. And so she was walking to get there, and she was not paying attention, and she inadvertently stepped off onto the canvas and fell on it, laying away from me, away from the side, and about 4 foot of water where it was. She didn't fall in the water, but she fell in the canvas, all split and ripped and rotted. And she was flopping around screaming.
Oh, wow.
And she didn't know what to do. And what happened was these ropes is all that they had there. If she'd have fell between, it would have went down the deep part of the pool. It was right next to it, and she'd have drowned.
Oh, my.
So I'm over here, and I'm looking at her. I walked up to the edge of the pool, and I'm 75 years old. So I'm big and fat, as y'all could see. And so I would have to reach forward to touch her, but I'd probably keep going and land on her, and then we both drown. Because it was 22 degrees outside. There was ice on that water. The pool was full underneath that thing. And I'm standing there, and I had no faith. This is a key. Don't forget this. I had no faith. I was freaking out. My wife was not in faith. She's freaking out. How can God bless you if you have no faith, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Great question.
And I was in fear, lots of fear. She was too. And I'm standing there looking at her, and I heard a voice in me, really loud. It said, "Grab her hands." And so I said, "Give me your hands." I bent, and she gave me her hands, and I heard, "Pull her out." And so I pulled, and I'm at the edge of the pool, my feet at the edge of the pool, which means I could have fell right in. And I pulled, and it's like everything went blank. I couldn't see nothing. And she went blank when I did that. And next thing you know, I'm 3 foot back away from the edge of the pool, 3 foot, facing the pool, and I'm looking down, and I can see all of a sudden, like my vision came back, and I saw her feet declining to the cement, slow motion, right in front of me. She's facing me, and she said the same thing happened to her. She went blank, and she remembered, all of a sudden she saw her feet coming down in slow motion. And I looked at her, and she's about from me to you, and the peace of God was all over us.
Wow, that is truly a miraculous intervention of
Well,
God.
let me tell you, 3 days, I was questioning, how did that happen? I mean, where's my faith, right? I said, how did that happen? In 3 days, I'm going, did I do it this way? Did her feet do this? I said, that's impossible. It can't happen. She'd have to actually come straight up because one leg was in the pool and the other leg was on top of rope. It just wouldn't have worked. And she couldn't have come descending down in front of me.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, after 3 days, the Lord says, "Larry, I did that." He said it was a miracle, okay?
What a great story.
And then he said to me, "You know why I did it? Because I love y'all." It wasn't because you had faith. You know what faith was? Faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word, or the rhema of God. Romans chapter 10, verse 17. And so when Paul did not have the scriptures back then in writing, he was writing them. He was only hearing the voice of God since he met Jesus on the road to Damascus. So he heard the voice of God, and so when he talked like that, he was referring to actually hearing, like I heard, "Grab her hands." And so what he was talking about there, faith comes by hearing, and if you study it, that's what it's saying. And hearing by the living voice, Thayer says, and it's from God in the original Greek. That means God speaks to you. He spoke to me.
So that's a really good piece of encouragement.
Let me finish it real quick. And so what happened was, he gave me faith. Faith in the Greek, not the noun, which is pistis, but the verb, which is peitho, P-E-I-T-H-O. This is the meaning of it, faith, divine persuasion. Somehow he persuaded me to grab her hands.
Wow.
Now watch this. And he did that because he loved us, not because we had great faith. He gave us faith. It's a gift from God.
So that's a really good piece of encouragement for our viewers, is that, God will give you what you need, the kind of faith that you need, but
Even
he
when
does
you think you don't have faith.
But he does things because he loves you. And if you're struggling out there and you're struggling with your faith, know that God loves you.
We are so excited to kind of bring you inside how NRB was with that interview. And it has been just so much fun being here in Texas. Texas gave us a big old Texas welcome. Big old Texas welcome.
It's really a lot of fun, and we hope that you also enjoyed a little inside look at NRB.
Man, we would love to hear from you. You can go to the app and just message us. I love getting those because I think they're emails, but they're not. They're from the app, but we'd love to hear from you. And here's the thing, Kristen and I want you to go out and live an abundant life.